And we are live from an undisclosed location somewhere deep in the heart of American flyover country. As you heard earlier today, there's probably been a Russian military craft flying over as well. But we're deep in the heart of American flyover country, under the radar, perhaps, but definitely over the top, bringing you the information that affects your world, changes your world, and helps you unindoctrinate yourself. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to guide your own spirit, if you're going to master your own ascension, if you're going to be your own guru, Rocky Stucci, let's do this. Shut up. If you're going to unindoctrinate yourself, you got to learn, you've got to understand, you've got to know how the matrix works, how the media matrix works, how the cultural matrix works, how the political matrix works, how the religious matrix works. And guess what, folks? It's all the same matrix. And this guy, the Pope, who you see peering over my shoulder a little creepily, is the center of it all. And he came out today. This is reported by France24.com. Pope warns against hate-fomenting fake news. Now, I'm going to take you through this article. I'm going to show you how the matrix works. And I just realized I don't have my spiffy, bad stuff glasses. So here we go. This is how it works, ladies and gentlemen. It was a great Rocky Stucci show last night. This is how it works. The normal droid, the normal Kardashian consuming 99-cent heart attack, supper in a sack consuming droid will read this headline and say, oh, the Pope's against fake news. When the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, that the Pope intentionally positions himself as being against fake news when he is in fact the largest perpetrator of fake news on the planet today, and arguably for the last 2,000 years. Let me share the article with you so you can see that I'm not just making it up. Pope warns against hate-fomenting fake news, dated February 4th of 2019. And I'm wondering why it's just now coming out. That's because what is this? This is April, right? Well, anyway, it was dated February 4th, 2019, out of Vatican City. I guess he said this then, and it's just getting reported now. I don't know. Internet-based fake news is fomenting prejudice and hatred, Pope Francis said on Tuesday, warning our culture has lost its sense of truth and bends the facts to suit particular interests. Now, might I remind you that this is the Pope, the head of the Roman Catholic religion? The Roman Catholic religion that says if you're not Roman Catholic, you're going to hell. The Roman Catholic religion that says it's the only true religion, and if you're not a Roman Catholic, you're going to burn in hell. That's the very essence of prejudice. That's the very essence of hatred. And that is the very essence of suiting particular interests. Do you see how the matrix works, ladies and gentlemen? You come out against things that you yourself actually do, and you can be perceived as a champion against fake news when you are the biggest arbiter of fake news on the planet. He issued the stark warning in a letter to young people following a synod, which was youth themed. And I'm going to take you through this because it's interesting how he words it, and it will show you exactly how the matrix works. There's huge economic interests operating in the digital world, capable of exercising forms of control as subtle as they are invasive, creating mechanisms for the manipulation of consciousness and of the democratic process, the Pope wrote. Don't you understand, and Nigel hits it, blame your opponents for the things you're doing. Don't you understand that there probably are few more huge economic interests than the Vatican? There are probably few interests able of exercising control as the Vatican. Few things are more invasive. Few things are more manipulative, and few things are more manipulative of the consciousness and of the democratic process. Very few things. The Pope himself interjected himself into the U.S. presidential election last time. Social networks encourage contact between people who already think alike, precluding them from debate, he said. Come on, man. The Roman Catholic Church encourages contact between people who already think alike, precluding them from debate. All you have to do is substitute Roman Catholic Church for the things that he's speaking against, and you have the real truth. These closed circuits, the Roman Catholic Church facilitates the spread of fake news and false information, fomenting prejudice and hate. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how the matrix works. This is how the matrix works. You accuse other people of doing what you're doing, and it gives you cover to keep on doing it and be perceived as a champion against the very things that you do. Indeed, the digital environment, read, indeed, the Catholic Church is one of manipulation, exploitation, and violence. If you think I'm wrong, read history. And he warned against the dangers of historical revisionism. Sorry. Give me a minute. Oh, that Pope, he's killing me. The Pope warned against the dangers of historical revisionism. The Catholic Church, the Jesuits are all about historical revisionism. Oh, that's just too funny. That Pope, he's killing me. He's killing it with the stand-up. He's going to win last comic standing, no doubt about it. If anyone tells young people to ignore history, reject experience, look down on the past and look forward to a future, doesn't it then become easy to draw them along so that they only do what he tells them? Do you realize that that's exactly what the Roman Catholic Church does? Tells you what to do, when to do, where to do, how to do, who to do it with, when to do it, how long to do it, how much to pay for it. They draw you along so that you only do what you tell them. Ladies and gentlemen, he's saying, don't do what we do, and I'm against what we do, so don't think that we do it. With this outlook, and this one is you almost want to slap his little jowls for saying this. With this outlook, the church calls for a respect for women's rights. The church that won't let women in the priesthood calls for women's rights. The church that has a nun abuse scandal brewing calls for the respecting of women's rights. The church that says that a woman should not say a word in church calls for the respect of women's rights. A church that says it wasn't man that sinned, but woman. A church that says women are just here for the sexual pleasure of men. The church that says a woman should never have authority over a man. That church is raising a call to respect women's rights. All the while, upwards of 20% of their clergy are raping children. So excuse me, Pope Francis, if I don't give a shit if you don't agree with what some feminist groups propose. That's how he concluded his little speech here. That's how fake news works. That's how the matrix works. Accuse other people of doing what you're doing so you can be perceived as being against it and continue to do it without any opposition. You're the champions against fake news while you're the biggest producer of fake news since there's been news. You've got to learn to read the tea leaves. You've got to learn to understand what people are saying. You've got to learn, and here's a key right now. I'm going to give you a Pope Franny can kiss my fanny. I'm going to give you a key right here, ladies and gentlemen. Most of the time, when everybody thinks something is great, when everybody thinks something is right, when everybody thinks something is good, when everybody thinks something's the way that you should do it, take a step back and look at it again, because if the crowd is doing it, there's probably something wrong. Why aren't they in jail? Asked Chrissy N. That's a good question. And here's why. I have a friend who's worth $50 million, and he said to me, Jeff, in this world today, you get all the justice you can afford. Chrissy, they can afford a whole lot of justice. And like Nigel says, because they're all in the same club, and I'll quote the late and great George Carlin, it's one big club and you ain't in it. So you at least got to learn how to recognize it. You've at least got to learn how to call it out. And you've at least got to learn to separate yourself from it. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. We are here for just a few simple reasons. One, to get you to guide your own spirit, to get you to guide your own ascension, to get you to be your own guru, to get you to ask questions, to get you to question answers. You're the last generation of real humans. You're the next generation of new gods. You're this old man's worst nightmare. And you're this old man's old God's worst nightmare. All that's left is for you to unindoctrinate yourself.